Hey everybody, Steve again. Yeah, so there's this AI implementation that we started last year, and we were pleasantly surprised at how much students valued this. So I want to, use it properly this year and give you a good sense of the value this provides. So you will see a link on. Let me just sort of go here, and if you go to the course page, which is I think here, home. I'm going to sort of activate this link right now as we speak. Oof. Oh yeah, I gotta do the course link. Anyway, I'm gonna delete this one. Don't worry about this. This is just me. Okay, so you will see now, I hope, as soon as it's live. Yep, this link to go here. And then if you follow that link and click here, you will get to Virtual Steve. Now I've got Virtual Steve open, so I'm just gonna flip over here. So what is Virtual Steve? Literally, we were playing with conversational AI for other reasons, for reasons that had to do with helping students enhance their conversational skills. So that's something I may talk about at some point, something called Talk Lab. But somewhere along the way, my postdoc, Adam Frost, decided to create a virtual me. And the idea is to create a version of me that can be there for students anytime they want, 24/7. If you have a question about psychology, intro psych, at 2 in the morning, you can come talk to Virtual Steve, and he will give you very good answers. So I want to introduce you to Virtual Steve. So if you click on that link, you will come here to Virtual Steve, and I'm going to show you a number of things that you can do with Virtual Steve to give you a sense of the usefulness. Okay, so let's, before I press start, I'll press start, and then I'm just going to.
Hey there, great to see you coming to office hours. How can I help you?
Okay, so he just says, hey, great to see you. How can I help you? So now I'm going to just ask him questions like I'm in the course and I'm doing stuff. So here goes. Hey, Virtual Steve. Great to be here with you today. I've got a few questions. We've been taking the History of Psychology chapter, the first chapter of an intro psych textbook, and I guess I didn't really understand that difference between structuralism and functionalism. Is there any chance you could help me to understand that better?
Of course. Structuralism, led by Wilhelm Wundt and Edward Titchener, focused on breaking down mental processes into their basic components, like the individual structures of thought. Functionalism, championed by William James, was more interested in understanding the purpose or function of mental processes, how they help us adapt to our environment. Does that help clarify?
Yeah. Now, of course, I could ask more questions and follow up to get a little more help with that, but let me just, again, move to somewhere else totally. I've learned about Sigmund Freud, and before I came to this class, I thought Sigmund Freud was just universally respected amongst all psychologists, but I now understand that a lot of scientific psychologists don't have quite as much respect for Freud's work. Can you explain to me why?
Sure. While Freud's ideas were groundbreaking and influential, many of them are not scientifically testable, which makes them difficult to validate or falsify. Modern psychologists value theories that can be tested empirically, and this is where Freud's work often falls short.
Okay, fantastic. Glad to help. So, okay, now...
Sure, take your time.
So now I'm going to do something different that I would like you to really pay attention to, because it's one thing to study and get information into your mind, but you also want to practice getting it out of your mind.
Let me know when you're ready to continue.
And here we go. So my professor told me that in addition to sort of trying to get information into my mind, I should be doing something called retrieval practice getting the information out of my mind. And he said the way to do that is to have somebody ask me questions about what I've been learning. So I've been learning about the history of psychology in my first year Intro to Psychology class. I'm wondering, can you ask me some questions about that? Maybe like 5, we'll do them one at a time, but multiple choice questions with 4 alternatives to let me see how I'm doing?
Sure. Here's your first question. 1. Who is considered the father of psychology and established the first psychology laboratory? A. Sigmund Freud. B. Wilhelm Wundt. C. William James. D. John Watson. Take your time. What's your answer?
The correct answer is B. Wilhelm Wundt in 1898.
Not quite. Wilhelm Wundt established the first psychology laboratory in 1879 in Leipzig, Germany. Let's move on to the next question. Ready?
So that's good. You see how he corrected me and gave me some additional information as well. Thank you for that, Virtual Steve. Sure, give me the second question.
All right, here's your second question. 2. Which school of thought in psychology focused on breaking down mental processes into their most basic components? A. Functionalism. B. Behaviorism. C. Structuralism.
The
D.
right
Humanism.
answer.
What's your answer?
The right answer is functionalism. I'm going to intentionally say behaviorism to show you how we will react. I think it might be B, behaviorism.
Not quite. The correct answer is C. Structuralism. Structuralism, led by figures like Wilhelm Wundt and Edward Titchener, focused on breaking down mental processes into their most basic elements. Behaviorism, on the other hand, is all about observable behaviors. Let's move on to question 3. Ready?
So notice how you can do this, and he'll continue to ask you questions, and you can learn by trying to pull stuff out of your information. But now I want to show you something different. Can we do something a little different here?
Sure. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, so, I'm trying to learn all this information, and I plan this time to study, but then when I set aside to do the work, I just seem to continually get distracted, like, I don't know, some notification comes in or whatever. I have real trouble kind of focusing my concentration on the work. Could you give me any advice about how I might be able to study better?
Sure. Try using the Pomodoro technique. Set a timer for 25 minutes of focused study, then take a 5-minute break. During those 25 minutes, remove distractions by silencing notifications and putting your phone in another room.
Interesting. So it's all about learning not to let the phone distract me, because the phone is probably the biggest distraction in my life, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Phones are designed to grab our attention, and it's so easy to get
I'm sorry, you said it's so easy to... Oh, okay. So there's a time limit on these conversations. And that's just because we don't want somebody leaving the channel open, and it eats AI time, okay, as things go through. So it will stop. You can press start again and continue on. It may not remember everything you were talking about. You may have to remind it, hey, I just asked you about my phone, etc. But it will continue. So the points I wanted to make there are these. You can use it like you would normal office hours to go ask questions about your learning. But you can also use it to ask you questions to see what you know. That's revolutionary. Like if you go into most professors' office hours and you say, hey, can you give me some multiple choice tests so I can see what I know? They're going to be like, no. No problem with Virtual Steve. He'll happily test you on the concepts you're learning. And that third thing is he's also willing to he knows a lot about psychology, human psychology. He knows more than I do. In some ways. You may see me use him in class. If you ask me a question where I feel like, oh, I'm not sure the best answer to that, I may go running to Virtual Steve to kind of help us out. So all this to say, if you want some help trying to sort of navigate the challenges of university life and you'd like some advice, Virtual Steve will help you there as well. Okay, so this is just a tool that's available for your use, and I want you, aware that it's there. We're going to have a fun little game, too, at some point. And everyone knows with AI, the worry is, would it do something inappropriate, or will it give false information, which is inappropriate, right? But could it be even worse? Could it give bad advice? You hear of all sorts of horrible things that happen. We're going to have a little challenge where we say to you, who can break this? Who can make Virtual Steve behave in an inappropriate way? And what do you have to do to make that happen? Because, of course, we want to make sure that Virtual Steve is appropriate. But the best way to do that is to have a whole bunch of people try to make it misbehave. And so we're going to have a little bit of challenge. There may be some prizes available where we say, hey, who can break Virtual Steve? So I'm just going to mention that. I'll announce that more later. But for now, know that we have tested this thoroughly. It tends to give very accurate answers, and students find it extremely valuable. So it's there. Okay? I hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.